Did you know studies show that the average senior in the US is living with more than 300 items they haven't touched in over a decade? Think about that for a moment. It's not just clutter in the corner or boxes in the attic. It's a hidden weight, quietly pressing on your mind, your energy, and even your confidence. Many older adults tell themselves, I might need it someday, but that someday clutter often steals peace today. It's the reason so many houses feel heavy, even after hours of cleaning. You may wake up determined to tackle it, only to find yourself moving piles from one spot to another, exhausted, frustrated, and still surrounded by the same things. But here's the surprising truth. Seniors who finally broke free from this cycle say there are 7 simple decluttering secrets they wish they had embraced years ago. Secrets that don't take endless hours or painful sacrifices. Just small shifts that free up space, energy, and dignity. And in 2025, these habits aren't just about tidying up your home, they're about reclaiming your life, one decision at a time. Before we dive in, make sure to hit like and subscribe, because what you'll learn today could give you back something even more valuable than a tidy home, your peace of mind. Meet Mirella Donahue, 79, a retired piano teacher from the rolling foothills of Colorado. For decades, her home echoed with the sound of music. Students coming and going, recitals practiced late into the evening, and shelves lined with sheet music. But when retirement came, the notes grew silent. The stacks of music books she once relied on turned into piles in corners, collecting dust. Some hadn't been opened in over 20 years, yet she couldn't bring herself to let them go. Her quirky habit of collecting every edition of her favorite sonatas and hymnals became less about joy and more about guilt. Every time she walked past the stacks, she thought, what if I want to play again? What if someone else needs these someday? And so, the book stayed. But deep down, Mirella admitted something she had never told anyone. She thought decluttering meant losing pieces of herself, her history, her teaching days, her passion. The turning point came when she realized it wasn't about letting go of her past. It was about creating space for the life she still had left to live. Decluttering, she said softly, wasn't about loss at all, it was about living lighter, about breathing again in my own home. And when Mirella finally tried the 7 decluttering secrets that seniors across America now swear by, she confessed her only regret was not starting sooner. I wish I had done this years ago, she said. Secret number 1. The 5-item start rule. One of the most powerful decluttering secrets Mirella discovered was something so simple it almost sounded too easy. The 5-item start rule. The idea is this: don't aim to declutter an entire room, closet, or garage all at once. Instead, commit to removing just 5 items a day. That's it. 5. It could be an old pair of socks, a chipped mug, a piece of unopened mail, a duplicate spatula, or a book you'll never read again. At first, Mirella laughed. What difference could 5 items possibly make in a house filled with decades of things? But after a week, she had let go of 35 items. After a month, 150 items. And after 3 months, she looked around and realized her home finally felt breathable again. She called it her daily liberation ritual because each small decision lifted a little weight off her shoulders. For seniors, especially those over 60, this rule is transformative because it avoids the exhaustion that comes with marathon cleaning sessions. No more sore knees from standing too long or aching backs from bending over for hours. Instead, the work blends naturally into daily life. Imagine tossing 5 items while making coffee in the morning or setting aside 5 things before heading to bed. It becomes a rhythm, not a burden. There's also science behind it. Behavioral experts note that small, repeatable actions trick the brain into craving consistency. It's the psychology of momentum. Once you start, you want to keep going. For seniors, who may feel overwhelmed by the enormity of a lifetime of belongings, this rule turns the impossible into the achievable. For Mirella, the magic wasn't just in the space she cleared, it was in the way she began to see herself. She realized she wasn't defined by the stacks of old sheet music. She was defined by the joy of music itself, a joy she could still share without holding on to every single book. One evening, after donating her 5th pile of the week, she sat at her piano and played freely for the first time in years. I didn't lose music by letting go, she whispered. I gained the space to play again. Imagine standing in your living room right now. What 5 things could you let go of today without regret? Share your answers in the comments. Your list might inspire someone else's fresh start. Secret number 2. The memory without the object trick. One of the hardest parts of decluttering for seniors isn't the broken gadgets or the extra linens, it's the sentimental items. The greeting cards, the recital programs, the keepsakes from trips, the gifts from loved ones who've passed on. For Mirella, these were her deepest stumbling blocks. As a retired piano teacher, she had stacks of recital programs, hundreds of them, each tied to a moment in her life. Her first student performance, the day her daughter played a duet, even the concerts she attended with her late husband. Every time she picked them up, her hands froze. Throwing them away felt like throwing away her story. Then Mirella learned the memory without the object trick. Instead of keeping every physical item, she began photographing them. With a simple tap on her phone, she captured the cover of a recital program, the notes written in the margin, or the doodles from her students. Once preserved digitally, she let the physical copies go. At first, she worried it would feel like a betrayal. But something unexpected happened. When she looked at the photo, the memory still surfaced, the music, the laughter, the pride. And this time, there was no weight of clutter attached. I realized the memory wasn't inside the paper, Mirella said softly. It was inside me. For seniors in 2025, this approach is more accessible than ever. Free apps and even basic smartphones can store thousands of photos without cost. Cloud services mean your memories stay safe, even if your home floods or boxes get damaged. Families are even starting digital legacy albums, where photos of keepsakes can be shared with children and grandchildren, so the story lives on without the clutter. Imagine sending your grandchild a photo of a program or trinket, along with the story behind it, instead of leaving them boxes to sort through someday. Psychologists affirm that this method helps reduce the anxiety tied to letting go. By creating a bridge between memory and technology, seniors feel empowered, they honor the past without drowning in it. For Mirella, the change was profound. One evening, she spread out a box of recital programs on her table, snapped photos of her favorites, and then, for the first time in 30 years, recycled the stack. She cried, but not from sadness. It was relief. I didn't lose the moment, she said. I finally set it free. What's one sentimental item in your home that you know you'll never use again, but still can't part with? Would you feel lighter if you kept a photo instead? Share your thoughts in the comments. You might inspire another senior who's struggling to let go. Secret number 3. The company-ready corner. For many seniors, the thought of unexpected company can bring more stress than joy. The doorbell rings, a neighbor waves from the porch, or family members stop by unannounced, and suddenly every pile of mail, every dust bunny, every forgotten corner feels like a spotlight of shame. Mirella admitted she avoided inviting her neighbors in for years. I always said, maybe next time, she confessed. Not because I didn't love them, but because I didn't love how my home looked. That changed when she discovered the company-ready corner secret. Instead of overwhelming herself by trying to keep the whole house spotless, she chose one specific space to always maintain as tidy and welcoming. For her, it was the armchair by the living room window, the very place where guests would naturally sit when they came over. She cleared the stack of old sheet music from the side table, added a simple lamp, and placed a fresh coaster for coffee or tea. That one chair became her sanctuary of pride. The psychological power of this trick is profound. Experts say that when seniors create one consistently neat space, it becomes an anchor of control, a reminder that their environment is still theirs to manage. It shifts focus from what isn't perfect to what is inviting. Even better, when unexpected visitors arrive, instead of panicking, seniors can guide them naturally to the space that radiates warmth and readiness. Mirella described the first time her neighbor dropped by after she created her company-ready corner. Instead of apologizing for the clutter, she smiled, gestured to the chair, and poured tea. It gave me back my dignity, she whispered. For the first time in years, I wasn't embarrassed. I was proud. And in 2025, this secret carries even more weight. With the rise of community initiatives encouraging senior socialization and neighborhood check-ins, Many older adults are experiencing more drop-in visits than before. Isolation has been linked to declining health, and social connection is now seen as medicine. By keeping just one corner guest ready, seniors aren't just tidying a space, they're opening the door to healthier, happier connections. The beauty of this habit is its flexibility. For some, it might be a clear kitchen counter where coffee can be shared. For others, a tidy porch chair where the evening breeze can host conversation. It's not about the size of the space, it's about reclaiming pride in welcoming others in, even if the rest of the house is a work in progress. Mirella called it her pride corner. She said she no longer obsessed over what she couldn't keep perfect. Instead, she cherished what she could. And that small shift brought laughter, visits, and community back into her life. If someone knocked on your door right now, what corner of your home would you feel most comfortable showing them? Tell us below. You might inspire another senior to choose their pride corner today. Secret number 4. The donation before storage rule. One of the most common habits seniors fall into is boxing up clutter and sliding it into the attic, garage, or a spare room just in case. Mirella knew this pattern well. For decades, she filled plastic tubs with recital programs, unused kitchen gadgets, and clothing she hadn't worn since her teaching days. She stacked them neatly, telling herself she'd sort them later. But later never came. The boxes multiplied like shadows, filling her basement and weighing on her spirit. That's when she learned the donation before storage rule. Instead of moving items into hiding, the rule challenges you to make one immediate decision. Would someone else use this more than I do? If the answer is yes, the item doesn't go into a box, it goes into a donation bag. Mirella admitted this was life-changing. The first time she tried it, she stood in her bedroom holding a sequined choir gown she hadn't worn in 15 years. Her instinct was to fold it into a storage bin. But then she thought, would I ever wear this again? The answer was no. Then came the second question, could someone else use it right now? The answer was yes. With a deep breath, she placed it in her donation bag. It felt like breathing lighter, she said. The emotional power here lies in shifting perspective. Storage postpones the pain, but it doesn't solve the problem. Donation, on the other hand, transforms clutter into kindness. It reframes letting go, not as losing, but as giving. And in 2025, this rule is easier than ever. Seniors no longer need to load heavy bags into their cars or wait for someone to drive them. Apps like Pick Up My Donation, Goodwill Now, and even local church networks allow retirees to schedule doorstep pickups with a few taps. Some non-profits even text reminders when trucks are nearby. For seniors with mobility issues, this convenience has become a lifeline, making generosity effortless. Mirella said the joy of seeing her donation boxes disappear from her porch gave her more satisfaction than any storage bin ever had. I stopped burying my things in corners of my house, she said. Instead, I sent them into the world where they could live again. Even her family noticed the difference. Her granddaughter borrowed a blender that Mirella had considered storing, and ended up using it in her college apartment. Suddenly, her belongings weren't dead weight, they were gifts of usefulness and love. The takeaway is simple but powerful. Every time you feel the urge to box something up just in case, pause and ask, is storage really the answer, or is this item ready for its next chapter with someone else? If you had to fill one donation bag today, what's the very first item you'd place inside? Share it in the comments. You may inspire another senior to let go today. Secret number 5. The one in, one out habit. If clutter has a sneaky way of returning, this habit is the antidote. The principle is simple. For every new item that comes into your home, one old item must leave. No exceptions. No excuses. Mirella called it her balancing act of peace. She discovered this rule by accident after her 79th birthday. Her friends gifted her a beautiful silk scarf, something she adored. But as she opened her drawer to tuck it away, she realized it was already overflowing with scarves she hadn't worn in years. Instead of cramming it in, she paused and decided, if something new enters, something old must exit. That day, she donated an older scarf to her church thrift shop. From then on, it became her personal policy. If she bought a new book, she donated one she had already read. When her neighbor gifted her a candle, she passed along an unopened one from her own shelf. Even with kitchen gadgets, she practiced this. Receiving a new mug from her granddaughter meant another mug left her cabinet. The emotional power of this habit lies in its gentle discipline. It stops clutter before it starts. Instead of waiting for chaos to pile up, you create balance in real time. Mirella admitted it made her feel less guilty about enjoying new things. "I stopped feeling selfish," she said. "I wasn't just adding, I was trading." And in 2025, this rule has gained momentum among retirees across the US, thanks to minimalism movements tailored for seniors. Many communities now run swap circles local groups where seniors bring one item they no longer need and exchange it for something useful. For those who prefer digital help, apps like Nextdoor and FreeCycle have made giving away items as simple as snapping a photo. Mirella noticed that her home no longer felt like a storage unit, it felt alive and flowing. Even her shelves, once crammed with trinkets, began to breathe. She laughed, saying, "For the first time, dusting my shelves was easy, because there was space between the memories." This habit also carries a deep emotional truth. Many seniors hold on to things because they fear lack or believe they must preserve every gift out of obligation. But one in, one out reframes ownership. It says, "I can accept generosity without drowning in it. I can enjoy life today without burdening tomorrow." Her daughter told her, "Mom, your house finally looks like you again, simple, elegant, and full of what you truly love." That moment showed Mirella that this wasn't just about tidying her shelves, it was about regaining her identity. Place a small donation basket near your front door or closet. Each time something new comes in, drop an old item into the basket immediately. At the end of the month, schedule a donation pickup or drop it at a local charity. If you tried this habit today, what's the very first item you'd swap out? Tell us in the comments. You might inspire someone else to begin their own balancing act. Secret number 6, the energy check. One of the most overlooked parts of decluttering is how our belongings silently affect our energy. Seniors often think clutter is just about space, but in truth, it's about how your home feels when you walk through it. The energy check is a simple but powerful practice. Pick up an item and ask, "Does this give me energy, or does it drain me?" For Mirella, this shift changed everything. She had been holding onto her unused piano bench for years. It was tucked under the window, gathering dust. Every time she glanced at it, she thought of the recitals she no longer played, the student she no longer taught. Instead of sparking joy, it stirred regret. She admitted, it wasn't furniture anymore, it was a weight. When she finally donated the bench to a local community center, she said it felt like she had lifted a shadow off her home. Here's the hidden truth. Seniors often underestimate the emotional tax of objects. That sweater you never wear whispers, "You used to be thinner." That exercise bike in the corner nags, "You should try harder." The piles of unread books say, "You'll never catch up." These items don't support you, they drain you. In 2025, therapists and wellness experts alike are encouraging seniors to think of their environment as part of their mental health. Studies now show that cluttered, energy-draining spaces are linked to higher cortisol levels, disrupted sleep, and even lower motivation to socialize. That's why the energy check is not just about decluttering your house, it's about protecting your vitality. Mirella shared that once she removed items that drained her energy, her home didn't just look lighter, it felt lighter. She was more motivated to play the pieces she still loved on her piano, and she noticed she smiled more often when moving from room to room. Her daughter even remarked, "Mom, your house feels happier." This strategy works best in small steps. Walk into one room and let your body guide you. If an item makes you sigh, hesitate, or feel guilty, that's a clue. If it makes you smile, inspires fond memories, or sparks use in your daily routine, it stays. Think of it as giving your energy a voice. And here's the beautiful part. When seniors let go of energy-draining items, they're not left with emptiness, they're left with space for joy. Mirella filled the corner where the piano bench once sat with a cozy chair and a basket of her favorite sheet music. Instead of regret, that space now radiated comfort and hope. Try the doorway test. The next time you enter a room, pause. Notice the very first item your eyes land on. Ask yourself, does it lift me or weigh me down? If it weighs you down, it's time to reconsider its place in your home. Look around right now. What's one item in your home that drains your energy? Share it in the comments. You may inspire someone else to finally let go. Secret number 7. The legacy lens. One of the most powerful ways to declutter in later life is to ask, does this item tell the story I want to leave behind? This is the legacy lens. It's not about what was once useful or what might be useful someday. It's about what truly matters, what speaks to who you are, and what memories you want your family to carry forward. For Mirella, this lens was life-changing. As a retired piano teacher, she had boxes of recital programs stacked high in her closet. Yellowing paper from every student concert, every holiday performance. She confessed, I kept them because they were pieces of my life. But when I asked myself what story I wanted my children and grandchildren to see, the answer wasn't 50 programs tucked in a box. Instead, she chose one framed recital photo, signed by her very first group of students. That picture, she said, holds the whole story of my teaching years. The rest was just paper. This shift from keeping everything to curating the best of is what makes the legacy lens so freeing. Seniors often feel guilty about parting with things, fearing it dishonours their past. But when you view your possessions as storytellers, the choice becomes clearer. Keep the few that sing your story and release the rest. In 2025, more families are having conversations about legacy and memory than ever before. With the rise of digital photo storage, seniors now have an opportunity to preserve memories without drowning in boxes. A quick snapshot can keep the memory alive, while passing along the physical item to someone else who can use it. The real legacy isn't the clutter, it's the meaning behind it. Psychologists even note that seniors who use a legacy mindset when decluttering experience less stress and greater peace of mind. Why? Because instead of focusing on loss, they're focusing on purpose. It transforms decluttering from an ending into a gift. You're giving your family clarity instead of confusion, stories instead of piles, love instead of labor. Mirella's daughter noticed the difference. When she walked into her mother's home after the purge, she said, "Mom, it feels like you again." The curated photos, the one recital frame, the small but meaningful keepsakes, those told the story of a woman who shared her music, her love of teaching, and her laughter, not a story buried in forgotten piles. Practical tip. Try this with just one box or one shelf. Hold up each item and ask, if I weren't here, would this help my family know who I was? If the answer is no, it might be time to let it go. What's one item in your home that truly tells your story? Share it in the comments. You may inspire someone else to focus on their own legacy. By now, you've seen how Mirella's journey through the 7 decluttering secrets gave her not just a cleaner home, but a lighter heart. Each secret, from the 5-item start rule to the legacy lens, wasn't about tossing things out. It was about releasing what no longer served her and holding on to what truly mattered. The result? Less weight, more joy, and a renewed sense of freedom in her daily life. Mirella summed it up beautifully when she said, "I thought I was losing memories, but I was really gaining my life back." That's the heart of decluttering. It's not about emptiness, it's about making space for living. Imagine how much calmer your mornings could feel, how much energy you'd have, and how much easier it would be to invite friends or family over without embarrassment. If her story inspired you, don't keep it to yourself. Hit like, click subscribe, and share this video with a friend or family member who might also be struggling with their own someday clutter. Sometimes the biggest gift you can give someone is showing them they don't have to carry so much anymore. And stay tuned, because in our next video, I'll reveal 10 declutter traps that secretly make seniors feel older than they are. You'll want to hear this before your next cleaning session. It could change the way you see your home forever.